out doing some hunting, and I took down a 9-point buck with my bow, my elbow. Your favorite weapon to use in a wrestling match? Well, you know what? You've probably seen this match, and here's my bag of tacks, and they backfired on me. The only time the tacks ever actually used was when it was against Randy Orton, who brought them out, and they backfired on him, and Randy kind of went into shock when he realized he had about 800 sharp objects sticking in his back. But you know what? I'm a traditionalist. I'm going to go with the good old-fashioned steel chair as my favorite weapon.
Barbie.
Why not Barbie? Do you have any idea how much it hurts to get hit with Barbie? Do you have any idea how difficult that is to get through airports? Barbie is still residing somewhere in Canada. Barbie did not get to make the trip back home with me.
Eric Bischoff said why you want to use the fire.
Oh, the fire? Well, you know, there's some bad things that can happen with fire. Matter of fact, I spent 6 days in a court of law in Philadelphia being sued because some stupid fan had gotten a little too close to my fire. And he complained, well, I went to the wrestling match and I got burned. What a whip. Luckily, it was determined that while everyone else was running away from the fire, he ran toward it and put it out with his hands, which was very nice of him. But then he was trying to get a ridiculous amount of money for it, and they determined that he was more liable for his own injuries than I was. But you know what? It's probably not best to use fire in any kind of wrestling match. Okay? Do as I say, not as I did, or else you're going to get in a lot of trouble and you're going to have arthritis in your knees at an early age. Okay? How many questions did this kid get to ask?
Do you have another question, Christopher? All right, one more, okay?
I've got 2 questions for you. Who is your favorite wrestler, and why am I?
He's thinking about it.
No, okay, do you have one more question?
Go ahead.
Why Triple H hit you with a sledgehammer?
You know, you'd have to ask Triple H that. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Because he must hate you.
You know, you use that word a lot. Hate. You know what? There's not a lot of hating going on in pro wrestling. Except for Al Snow. I hate that guy. I don't think Triple H hates me, though.
All right, Christopher? All right,
Thank you, Christopher.
All right, who's got a question for Mick? Here we go. What's your name?
Sean.
Yes, Sean.
I can't believe today.
Before Sean talks, I told him a very moving story about my trip to China. Can I tell this story? This is really very inspirational. I was taking part in a medical mission called Operation Smile that goes to developing countries and does free facial reconstruction work for kids who can't afford it. And I was told when I went there that people wouldn't know who I was. It wouldn't be like I was there as a celebrity. So when I walked through the airport, I checked out of customs, and I walked through, and I got one of the biggest rounds of applause I had ever received in my life. Like being in Madison Square Garden, hundreds of people just roared as soon as I came out, and it was really like I got welled up, my eyes teared up. And then I realized they weren't looking at me; they were looking over my head, and South Korea had just scored a goal in the soccer World Cup. Nothing to do with me.
What's your question, Sean?
I read the Ric Flair spoke, and from his comments, I don't know if you took offense to that, but I feel it was a little bit.
Oh, Ric Flair's comments?
Yeah.
Well, you know, obviously, when someone writes a book, you want them to say nice things about you. But it didn't happen this time. There's 2 things going on here, Ox. I think A, he wanted to. He had to take some things out of his original manuscript because he has a kind of an embarrassing lawsuit against him. And I think he was looking at a very dull book, and they wanted him to spice it up, so he went back and specifically made controversial comments about me and Bret Hart. That's one thing. The other thing is, I think that for a guy like him and a guy like Hogan, they're rational guys who become irrational when they hear my name being mentioned in the same breath as theirs, you know. It reminds me of when, like 98, when kids used to come up to me and talk about Goldberg. Goldberg is a nice guy, and you know, he made a big contribution in wrestling, but I'm a pretty logical guy, and as soon as I'd hear talk about Goldberg being a legend, I would become completely irrational. I'd be like, he's not a legend, he only did 2 moves, and he just did Goldberg, and I'm in that cage, and I was thrown up by the Undertaker. And you start rambling around like a jerk. Everyone sounds like a jerk every now and then, but he had the opportunity, because it's a book, to eliminate the parts where he sounds like a jerk, and he opted not to do that. So, my feeling is, if you're Ric Flair, and you are arguably the greatest wrestler of all time, and you write your autobiography, and at the end of that autobiography, people are talking about me, then he's kind of done himself an injustice, you know what I mean?
Another thing is, do you think WWE has made a mistake pushing Randy Orton?
No, I don't think they made a mistake in pushing him. I think they made a mistake in turning on him the millisecond he won the title. That seemed to me like something as a wrestling fan that I would have wanted to watch and watch develop over time. So they make, you know, I mean, it's always easy to, you know, to be perfect in hindsight, but I think they blew a good opportunity there. And you know, I'm sure you guys got a question for Ox also. I'm sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, this time I want to make a tribute to Mankind. I was at a show one time like this, and I wasn't making a nickel, and he happened to look over his shoulder and said, "There's an old friend of mine," and people were lined up from here to the doorway. He said, "Ox, sit right behind me, you can get the overflow." I sat down beside him, and I had a very nice day, and I know this 4 or 5 years ago, 6, I don't know how long, I've never forgot that kindness. So that's, whenever they mention his name, I said, don't ever say anything bad about it, because I remember the good deed. He didn't have to do that. A lot of times, you do something because you have to, but when you do something you don't have to, that's when it's great. And like I've always said about myself, when you have an outstanding talent, when you have a great charisma, the average person watching you might misunderstand you. You might misunstand Mankind, but if you think about the kindness that he did to an old, broken-down wrestler like Ox Baker, I know myself that I won't forget it. Did anybody have a question for me? My mother had 3 children, 1 of each, of course. Everybody knows that. But I want to give this back to Mankind. I want to thank you for being my friend. There's a real fine gentleman right there.
I just want to say, I think that was 94, and I'll go check at my parents' house because the picture's probably still up. We used that in the Foley calendar. That was like the big, you know, the 12-month calendar. Picture of me and Ox sitting there together at that event he talked about, and apparently my parents liked it so much they kept that calendar up for 10 years. And I think the reason I like it is I was under the impression, I used to consider myself the world's ugliest wrestler. And after looking at myself sitting next to Ox, I realized I don't really look that bad, do I? I mean that as a compliment, Ox. All right. Did I have another one? I hope not. Oh, you mean I have an 18-month-old that I know about? Yeah, little Huey. So yes, I do have a Dewey and a Huey, but they're 12 years apart, so it's not as if they'll be picked on the school bus together. But yeah, he's doing pretty good, and the cool thing about retiring is I've gotten to see a lot more of my 3- and 1-year-old than I did, you know, the 12- and 10-year-old.
What about table?
What about who?
Table? Table.
Do they like tables?
Yeah.
They like eating at tables?
Table.
No, my 3-and-a-half-year-old has no idea what I used to do for a living and thinks that every dad has their own action figure. Makes perfect sense to him.
Any other questions? Anybody want to come up? If you guys want to scream it, here we go.
You seem to always pride yourself on like elevating the younger guys and stuff, and you seem to be pretty instrumental in Triple H getting over it back when he was, you know, first becoming world champion. Now there's like a lot of criticism of Triple H for kind of overprotective of his top spot and kind of keeping people down. What do you think of those types of comments?
You do know that Triple H is married to the boss's daughter, right? You know the boss signs my checks. How stupid do you think I am?
Anybody else got a question? Come on up. Or you want to just yell it?
Back at WrestleMania, they played the Mankind music instead of Cactus Jack.
I think the Mankind music is catchier. The others, for the young kids, it's not really a bad story. The Mankind music was made specifically for me. The Cactus Jack music, because that literally came on a decision that Vince made in '97. You're going to be Cactus Jack today. They found in like the library of accessible music that anyone can take. It's called part of the... Ladies and gentlemen, the Iron Sheik is here. So you can go and see the Sheik, former WWF champion. The thing about the Sheik, that I was a former WWF champion, but for some reason I have to claim that I was a former WWE champion. The Iron Sheik is still officially WWF champion. Eric Sims, you need a massage? He's the guy for you. Yes. Okay. If you haven't met the Iron Sheik, you owe it to yourselves to do so. He'll be here at 2 o'clock. But what happened with that music is some wrestling fan wanted me to see a tape. He said he thought it'd be cool, and he proceeded to start to show me a film that was rather adult in nature. And I was wondering. I said, "What do you think? I have some kind of permit?" He says, "Wait, you're gonna love this." And the scene unfolded, and all of a sudden I heard that distinctive guitar music. And it was the Cactus Jack theme music. So I never have looked at that theme music as being quite as cool since then. And we used Mankind's music because it was catchier. Yeah. One more question?
Is there any chance you may come back to wrestling?
Any truth that I'll be coming back to wrestling? Well, you know what? I've gotten a lot more active doing some independent stuff. Not wrestling, but I'm refereeing, and there's a good chance. We did a great show down. What town is that?
That was in Fall River.
In Fall River, I did a show, and we were able to raise
over $9,000.
Over $9,000. Everybody on the show, myself included, worked for free. We raised $9,000 for a little boy who was having a pretty tough time. Thank you.
Free T-shirt for Mankind. Let's hear it.
Thank you.
Autographed picture off speaker for the Mankind. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
The latest movie I did, The Escapers for Mankind, huh?
Yeah.
That's the latest movie.
You gonna sign these things for me?
Huh? When you get through.
Oh yeah, when I get through, I'll.
I hate for these guys to beg for stuff. Hey, brother.
And so I've gotten involved in a new Ring of Honors. Are they coming to Boston? Ring of Honor. I won't be on that show, but they're a great group of guys that work real hard. I've noticed that a lot of the younger guys have really stepped up and really started, doing some creative and sometimes some crazy things. And I'm working a little bit with them, and I have had a top secret meeting with Vince McMahon that is apparently not that top secret anymore. And so if you see me on TV, it'll be because he liked something I said. I also have a children's book coming out October 18th, done in conjunction with WWE. So I may just show up, to say, look what I have, and all the money from that book goes to build an early education center in the Philippines. So it's nice to go out and promote something and be proud of it, even though you don't stand to make any money. Don't get me wrong, I have nothing against making money, and if you want me to have some of it, you can feel free to buy one of these T-shirts that goes directly to the Foley Pizza Fund. Anyone else?
Out of all the wrestlers who wrestled over the years, who did you enjoy wrestling the most?
You know what? It's who did I enjoy wrestling the most? Let me see. Let me start eliminating people right off the bat. Al Snow, Mean Street Posse. You know, I loved wrestling Terry Funk, because there was that sense when we were in Japan that we were really building something, and we had some really hard-fought matches in front of very small crowds. And then when I got to WWE, you know, my first series of matches, big match with The Undertaker, you know, I used to get goosebumps on my arms whenever that music would play. And then I had a chance, you know, to wrestle in front of those big crowds every night with, you know, The Rock and Triple H and Stone Cold. Stone Cold, when he was on top, when he was the hottest thing the business had seen in years, was an amazing guy to wrestle, because I was under the impression that everything I did must have been really great because it got such a great reaction. If I'd done that same stuff with Test, it would have been crickets, you know what I mean? So, all right.
Hold on, I don't want to interrupt Mick, but I was just asked, when Mick's only got about a half hour left, does anybody still need to get things signed, pictures, anything with Mick Foley before he leaves? That was just at the request of the promoter. Everybody's all set?
Yeah, so if you have the pictures, yeah, we're doing this because, like I said, you know, it's morning time, and I'm sure a lot more people will be flowing in later. And I don't want to sit here. I want to make it seem worth your while to come here. But yeah, if you want anything, including T-shirts, you know, go ahead and come up here. But
and there's no reason we can't do that while we ask a few more questions.
We had a few more, right? The young lady.
Yes. My most inspirational moment. Inspirational. That's a good question.
You know what? I'm going to. I don't want to ox give it. Yeah. That was it right there when I started leading the chant in the WCW, leading the crowd in the WCW chants. This is the T-shirt, if you remember, where. Anyone remember this match? No. This is the first time ever done. Tommy Dreamer now is making a fiery comeback, and he ends up tearing off my Dungeon of Doom T-shirt. Now watch this, he's going to tear it off, because nothing could be worse than a Dungeon of Doom. Oh no, it's the Eric Bischoff T-shirt. It's the Eric Bischoff T-shirt, which is now pulled over my head. He is now hitting Eric Bischoff. I believe he's gonna now crack Eric Bischoff with a steel chair. Oh my God, goodness. And I believe he's going to bust Eric Bischoff wide open after Terry Funk gets Raven with a shopping cart. Funny thing was, when you were at ECW, a shopping cart in the ring did not seem that strange. But you know what, maybe with the Funker, that match, I talked about working really hard in front of small crowds like I'm doing now. I thought that was funny. But when I got back on the bus afterwards, you know, and the two of us, we were a mess because no one had realized that we might need showers after being in a barbed wire match. And so we got back and we both stunk. There's this horrible scent of stale iron that you get, you know, when you've been bleeding. And so the bus did not smell all that good. But coming back after that match, after we'd done things that could get each other arrested in most states in this country, and then, you know, embrace and talk about all the cool stuff we were going to do down the road, was inspirational to me, because at that point it was never about the money, you know. And then when you get to WWE and it becomes big and big and big and the arenas are sold out, then you do start thinking about your future and your financial future. But back then, you know, that was not even a thought. That was one of them. I probably had many of them. That's what I'm coming up with. Yes.
You've mentioned a bunch of times about wrestling Shawn Michaels in '96 as one of your best matches. I've read certain reports, and I was wondering if you could verify that he was supposed to drop the strap to you at Mind Games. Is that true? No?
Hey, if that was the case, I was never let in on that secret. No, I don't think that was...
I just wondering if anyone promised that to you and then took it away.
No. No, that was never the case. You guys are always looking and find trouble where it doesn't exist. Next thing you're going to tell me that Triple H doesn't deserve to be the 18-time world champion. Okay, let's have two more questions, and then I got to sign some socks, and then I've got to go. All right, let me see. Two questions. Outsider shirt, WrestleMania tour. I'm going to go right here.
Who are your closest friends amongst all of the boys?
Oh, well, you know what? I actually have a lot of close friends among the girls, believe it or not. Yeah, I mean, I'm good friends with Al Snow and good friends. I am friends with Al Snow. I wrote the introduction or the preface to Edge's new book, and you know, I like the fact that the young guys seem to like me. I get along with just about everybody. And I really have a lot of good friendships with the girls. Stephanie McMahon is a good friend of mine, and Stacy Keebler, and Lita, and Molly. You know, I like all the girls. I get along with them. So, for some reason, this is not really a compliment to me as a man, as a hell of a man. But the girls apparently don't find me very threatening, and they like that. So I don't hit on them. I do, they just don't realize it. And, so I love going back to the dressing room because I do have a lot of people I get along with there. Ricky Springfield's a buddy of mine. No one's seen Boogie Nights here? Sometimes I say things just to entertain myself.
A couple weeks before the wrestling here in Boston, you were involved with the dumpster incident.
Dumpster incident? Oh, yeah, yeah.
Did anybody know that was going to happen? Because it seemed like Sonny was crying, and it seemed like some people didn't really know what was going to happen.
You really are gullible, aren't you? Yeah, I'm going to leave that one alone, okay? I'm going to let you ponder it. Okay. All right, last question. Which gimmick did I enjoy portraying the most out of, who was it? Early years of Mankind. Yeah, because Mankind was almost like two different characters, right? The early years and the later years. Yes. Yeah, but that Cactus Jack stuff was tough, man. You know, to try to, you know, over the years, Cactus Jack, the myth of Cactus Jack became a lot tougher than the real guy was, and then I'd have to deliver and try to live up to that myth. So I liked it, but I could only do it once in a while. I liked the Latter-day Mankind because it made the show fun, and I heard from a lot of people, you know, that it was take their minds off their troubles, which is what wrestling should be in part about. And I loved being the commissioner because I didn't get hurt. I could show up when I wanted to. This was before they had a dress code. And yeah, and I could wear my sweats and my flannel shirt. It was awesome, you know. And then
Could you wrap him up, please?
That's it, man. That's it. Hammer, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take away from table time, but
Don't break it yourself.
Hey, thanks everybody. Thanks for coming out here. I got to bail out. Great to see you in East Boston, and have a nice day.
Wait, don't stop, don't stop.
Thank you, Mick Foley. Wait a minute.
Don't stop, please, until I sign that autograph.
Get the oxen pen here, okay?
I'll throw it off your table.
All right, folks, don't forget, so much more to come. Ox Baker will be with us all day. Ox, you'll be here for the question and answer, right?
Yes, I will.
Outstanding. We're going to have that at 5 o'clock. Of course, Greg the Hammer Valentine. You saw the Iron Sheik make a quick appearance. He'll be back at 2 o'clock, as will Polish Power Ivan Putski, the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, Duke of Dorchester, Pete Doherty. That is worth the price of admission alone, ladies and gentlemen. And so much more. Road Warrior Animal will be...